And we're live. So, hello everyone. If you're watching the Cyber Archived, welcome. As you can see, I did remember to change the title of the stream. So, yes, some more root building today. Psst, you're on the air. Actually, I'm on the chair. Maybe you misspelled that. Right. So, second. Go. Well, what do you expect the chair to be on? Right, here we are. So, last time we did the tunnel entrances, and also we corrected all of the junction frogs. So this time, we're going to start by expanding the terrain over here. Now, what sort of shape would look good here? The floor. Is it? Is it what? If you mean the thing the chair is on, then probably yes. So, we've got the line coming up this way, and then over here. We've got one area where logs are loaded down here. Now, what kind of... is it on the floor? I mean, I haven't checked in the last 2 seconds, but if I remember correctly, I think so. Yes, it is. Right, so... okay, so timber is going from here down this way. Gravel is going down this way as well. Good, yes. Passengers are going all over the place, up and down, over and here and over there. So, general goods, so boxcars would be coming up this way anyways. And if I've got a lumber mill down here someplace, where I'm bringing the logs to, then it might be good to have the same flatbeds carrying the lumber up here. That might be helpful. I'm just thinking of how I want the route to continue, because I do want to continue along the edge of the lake. But I was thinking maybe splitting it up so that the one line carries on to maybe over here, so like this, and another one splits off and maybe goes on to a tributary, one of the tributaries over here. So maybe like this, and then they terminate there. That might be good. Right, so we need the lake to begin with either way. Right, so let's just start doing that. Sounds interesting. Right, so this should be... yes, this should definitely be water. Maybe have... how big does this look? Not huge. Maybe 2 more. Maybe like this, so that this is maybe the size of the lake. That seems good. Then we need more on this side as well. Because of the slopes. So if this is the shape of the lake, then the slopes will have to go around there. So you see, if the lake sort of has this sort of shape, Then we have this space to have the slopes coming up. Right. Yeah, because I did remember that originally I wanted to have this canyon where it tightens up a bit. I wanted to have the main line go over a bridge over to the other side and then carry on that side. But this way, I mean, it doesn't really fit here. Thanks for the welcomeage, by the way. How are you? I'm not sure. I think I'll ask myself the next time I meet myself. So I've just done that and the answer is good. Yes. Right. How are you? So if the shape kind of goes like this, then if this line goes around the outside like that, okay, so we could have like two tributaries. We could have one kind of coming this way. So then maybe when it goes up here, it can cross over the river here, so we can have the bridge there, and then it goes over. And then we can have a junction here where it then goes off and follows the other tributary up to here maybe. I think that's a good plan. So let's just do that. And yeah, I'm gonna switch it over to 5 meters. I mean, maybe I was thinking maybe I don't need the central tiles to all be 5 meters, but the ones at the border definitely. Sort of like this. Good, I'm good as well. Thanks. That's good. Right, now let's see. Right, so first of all, I need to bring it up to this height, for which I will use the copy and paste tool. Will this lake have a small island in the middle? No, because it is an artificial lake. So that would have... Oh, that doesn't really work. Right, because it copies the water as well. No, so it was originally just a valley with a river beneath. So for there to be an island in the middle, there would have needed to be a peak there surrounded by river, which doesn't really make sense unless there's sort of a ridge coming down the middle which ends in a bit of a taller peak, but I don't really think that that would be that good. Oh yeah, that's true, I forgot that. That's okay, that's okay. Would be nice if you could add baseboards at a specific height. Yes, you're right. Maybe there is a function like that and I've just never discovered it, which isn't that unrealistic actually. Right, so sort of like that. Just paste it there, save, and let's continue. I have a feeling we're going to make great progress today. Which is good. Okay, so that's already quite a lot done. So we just need to continue. Almost done. Okay, there we go. So, thank you very much for joining me. The stream is over, just a few shoutouts at the end. So Kango Fango, he does OMSI 2 live streams, also recently started doing Trainz. He's working on a Wales map, a fictional Wales map. Also check out Slovak Eagle, he does Trainz route building, driving simulator streams, and he's also working on Central Europe, so... What do you mean, what? Oh, right, it's... Oh, right, it's not... Yeah... it's not time for the stream to end yet, sorry. Yes. Hello, 2 people without accounts and YT archive people. Oh yes, hello you YT archive people. That sounds like cave people. Like the YT archive people, they lived in these caves in the early Stone Age, also known as the Neolithic period. See ya. Yes, hello. Right. Okay, so what is the... Okay, so now... the stream isn't over? No, it isn't. I mean... I did say that it wasn't over. Right, so I think I'll roughly put the shape of the lake down now. Just sort of up to this height, so I know what it's going to be like. So the slopes need to come up to this point here at this height. Actually, I need to increase the size a little bit so that it's easier to draw. Is that a good point? Yeah, that's a good point for one of the tributaries to exit, or enter, I suppose. Right, and then we'll have the other one sort of over here. Well, isn't this a surprise? Confusement 100. I mean, that sentence is definitely confusing, so is that what you were going for? Oh, the shape of the lake looks like a heart now, does it? If your heart looks like this, then are you sure that you're human? Because to me this doesn't really look like a heart. Also, by the way, thanks for coupling up, Kango Fango. I did see it. I did see you coupling up at the beginning of the stream. Yeah, you can see here it goes much quicker because it's still the 10-meter grid size on these baseboards. Right, so how does this shape look? What does it look like from over here? Well, it just looks like a big tub. You're welcome. Yeah, I accidentally unfollowed and then I followed again. Well, it's nice to have stalkers. Not really. But, yeah. That looks nice. Don't you think that looks nice? I think that looks nice. Alright, now let's continue. Yes, 1 sec. You can take one, but I'm not gonna wait for you. Oh, what was that sound? I have to wait until I'll see the... Ah, there you go, you're hosting with 1 viewer. So hello, whoever came from Kangofango just now, unless that is Kangofango himself, counting as the one who's being hosted, in which case, you're still welcome, but since you were already kind of here, you already received that welcoming, so... There we go. Yes, there we go. It's probably me. Thanksies. I'll gladly take another. Will you place fish into the lake? Probably some near the shore, but I don't think I'll place many down here. Although maybe I will, so that that if a player sees it on the map, they'll have to go down to the depths and then look for it. But it's quite easy to see. Or even fishes. Yeah, probably, because I'm probably not gonna have them all the same species. You could name some of the fish. Yes, that's what I meant. So that when the player has to look for them, because you can see on the map, oh, there's something there in the lake, and what is it? Oh, it's a fish. Ah, yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, true. True. Right, so I'm trying to model this as though I want to make a river come this way along and a river come this way along, because that is the shape that the geography has to have, because that's essentially what it was before the dam was built. Well, it is exactly what it was before the dam was built. So I'm trying to do that without trying to think of the shape that the lake will have as much. Wouldn't it be nice for the lake to be heart-shaped, like this? Yeah, kind of, but it wouldn't be that interesting to have the same shape twice. Because this way, the tracks are coming along this side, and you will be able to see this little bay over here and this large bay over there. And this kind of asymmetry, I think, is going to be quite good, especially when one of the tracks is going to go down this way, and then you'll have a Y going over here, and then the other track curving around there, and you can have this longer bit where it's going along and then going up this way. The bottom part is where the dam is. Yes, I gathered that. Ah, yeah, that's true. No, it's not a bad idea. It's just that I think this way it looks more interesting, at least in this area. Right, so this needs to come up a bit more around here, because we do need a valley for the river to have flown down in the past. Not flown as in fly, but flown as in flows. And soon I'm going to fill this with water, but then, then I'm going to, just to see what it looks like, what part of the land is poking out, if any. Well, that's not supposed to poke out. And then I'm probably going to remove the water again, or undo it, just so that I can fix some of the land a bit easier. So just sort of as a test. Right, so something sort of like this, probably. Maybe a bit further over here. Ooh, why? Good idea in Trainz. Extremely expensive idea IRL. Well, yeah, expensive both in terms of money and in terms of ecological damage. Oh, that reflection looks strange back there. Is that because... No, that's probably just because... Oh, it's just because of the field of view of the camera angle. Oh, wow, that doesn't look great. I think I'll take a screenshot of that. There we go. To put it mildly. To not put it mildly, it'd make you bankrupt. Well, me personally, yes. Ew. Yo! Hello, Mr. W! Welcome. I'm just in the middle of temporarily filling the lake as a test. How are you? Right, so... if you imagine the slope going up higher to about here, back there, so sort of like this sort of shape, then I think it looks good. I think it does look good. Now, how about from this side? Okay, well, this will definitely need to be taller, but that problem will solve itself when I put the slope in. So all looks good. That's good. Okay. Yeah, this I can refine later. Will the lake get a name eventually? Yes, it will. Okay, that's good. So now let's undo all of the work of putting the water in. Actually, should I? Is the water... Is the shape of the lake good the way it is? Because if it is, then I can just put in the banks... not the banks, the slopes now. How does it look from this angle? I think, I'm not sure if this is pronounced enough. I think this needs to be more pronounced. So coming up to sort of over here, at least, and then sort of over this way. Twitch glitched for a second then. Big lake. Yes, it is a big lake. Alright, it's good. Keep it. Okay. Mr. W, they might as well rename it to glitch. I mean, he's got a point there. Right, so if this is sort of like that. Alright, this plateau doesn't really look that great underwater at the moment. So I do need to kind of smoothen this out a little bit for if people look underwater. Which, to be honest, everybody will. Everybody, yes. There we go. Sort of like that. Name, Gerald Harbinger. Profession, glitch streamer. I thought you meant for the lake the name, Gerald Harbinger. Bit strange that. Right. How does that look? I think that's better. Yeah, that's better. It's still difficult to see from here because it's so far away. But if you go along this way, then yeah, you can start to see the other bay being occluded far earlier. And you travel along here, you'll have the Y here. And then it carries along here, probably around here. Maybe we could have a tunnel through there. Maybe that's going to be the solution. I don't know. It'll depend on what I want to do. Then this will continue along here and go up this tributary. I hope that's the right word. I think it is. I think it is. Right. So, next thing is to flatten the area around it so that we can then start working on the slopes. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do the left half first and then the right half. It's a bit, it's good sometimes to split up work into different parts, so then you actually feel like you're making progress. Tributary, did you say? I think so. Yes, I did say tributary and it is the right word. Don't think that's the right word. No, it is the right word. It is. Really? Yes. If I look it up in the dictionary, back it literally and oh well, welcome back. So tributary, a river or stream flowing into a larger river or lake. There we go. And that's exactly what I meant. In geographical language, lagging and not responding. So hey, XE. Yeah. Yeah, reloading it would probably be good. or if you are not already, I would suggest switching to Ethernet. Seems to be working now. Good. Yeah, that's great. Okay. I can hear an owl outside. I think it's a tawny owl. So, did I miss anything from the first half of the stream? Well, the first half of the stream isn't over yet, since the first half goes to 10 o'clock. Basically, I made this bit. Everything that's to the left of this line I made. So this area. But in terms of conversation, not that much. Would it be quicker to also use copy-paste on the train? Yeah, for these open areas, yes. But I was already kind of in painting it from doing the rims, which I can't use copy and paste for. So just kind of continue doing that then. But I'll probably use copy and paste for the other side after I've done the rim. More like first half of the first half. Oh, does this go for 2 hours now? I switched them. I did post it on Discord. I switched the slot. Okay, so basically the way it's now is Trainz, which was on Monday, is now on Tuesday. So instead, so it's Tuesday from Trainz from 9 till 11, and then on Thursday it's Roller Coaster Tycoon for 1 hour, and then it's Trainz on Saturday for 2 hours. So basically Saturday and Thursday are switched, and Monday is pushed back a day. Yes, schedule has changed. Sweet! Shadows will probably explain it in more detail. Yes. I didn't realize you switched the times. Right, my bad. It's fine. Yeah, it is fine. I mean, you can see the updated times on the schedule page of my Twitch page if you want to look it up there. Shadice, isn't Monday pushed forwards instead of back? I'm not sure what you mean by that. The Monday slot. Well, I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, right. Oh, I get what you mean, yeah. I meant pushed back as in further away. So so if you think of it, the time's going here, and then here would come here. Instead, it's pushed further back, so it comes later. As in forward would bring it closer, and back would push it further back, so further away. That's how I meant. Alright, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but forward would make sense as well. It depends on which way around you think about it. Right, and I'll actually switch to copy and paste here, once I've made this little area which I can copy from. Yes, this is going much faster. And you can see, because this is a 10 meter grid size, it also pastes much faster. Right, so that's done then. Right, Yay, never mind. Okay. How are you at Mr. WL? Yes. Not bad. Been having a mostly chilled out day today. That's nice. That is nice. Right, so do I need another baseboard here? I don't know. Because if this slope continues as is and then goes back up here, then I don't. So I think I'm not going to put it in. If I need to put it in later, I will. Sorry. Same with Sunday, hopefully. Hopefully. Good. Yes. Right, so I'll actually smooth this little area out here, and then I'll use the height up tool to make the slopes. Yeah, this can actually go a bit further in, like this. This as well. Did anyone watch the vid I put in Discord? Not yet. I'm sorry I forgot about it, but I will okay, I'll write it down. I will watch it. There we go. W Discord vid Tom Scott. There we go. I've written it down. Don't worry about it too much. No, I do want to watch it. I forgot. But now I've written it down. Right. So I think I'll start over here. I haven't either, sorry. Will do soon. Shared ice. When you'll have the base shape done once more. Mountains, lakes, and cliffs galore. Is anyone else here? I'm here. There are 3 people watching, so some of them are probably without accounts, so hello to you. Yes. Also people are watching it archived, probably. Actually, actually a 10 meter grid size would suffice here. That's a word I don't use very often. Suffice. It sounds sophisticated. But, yeah. Just came up with an idea. Calling all Twitchers. And a few bots. At everyone. Cliffhanger, not surprised. Yeah. Me neither. Otherwise you would have known that I was surprised by my reaction. So that is much better. Much more comfortable with working with this amount of space here. Yeah, Shadows, you always sound fairly sophisticated. Thank you. Scomt TV is also watching, but maybe he's also a bot. Yeah, I don't know. If you are a bot, then please proceed to write in chat that you are not a bot. If you're not a bot, please proceed to write in chat that you are a bot, but are only writing that because I told you that you need to write that if you are not a bot. So, there we go. Right. Bots are botting. Here's that point where a bigger brush would be better. Oh, by the way, Mr. W, one of my Trainz tutorials got featured in N3V's newsletter, which is the company who make Trainz, the email. Yeah, I mean, I didn't submit it or anything, it just, they found it and thought it good enough to feature in their newsletter, which I'm happy about. So N3V, if you're watching this, a bigger brush would be greatly appreciated, really. And I know that I'm not the only one. I know of several people, just off the top of my head, who would also really appreciate that. So, yes, that is a feature I would really like, please. I mean, if you can pull off a multiplayer surveyor, then you can probably pull off a larger brush size. So, yes. Nice. Thanks. I bet all the bots have smoke coming out of the air vents right about now. Shy Dice, but wouldn't they have to ask you if they could use it first? No, it's already... Because the thing is, they only embedded the video. The video is already public on YouTube, so they only linked to that page. They didn't use it in any content of their own. They just linked to it, which, again, was already publicly available under that license. So it's all fine. N3V Games official. Yes. Yeah. Alright, fair point. Or fair use, as some might say. Right, I'm not going to make this slope go all the way to the edge, simply because it's easier to work with if you don't have to continue working with it over this way, if it doesn't have a sheer edge at one side. And yes, I will need to work with this little lip here again later. It's been a while since we've done some big terraforming. I'm happy that we're doing some more of that. Nice. Happy to. Yes, I'm happy too. Nice. Just a random question to keep the chat interesting. How long did Living Art and Ghosted Mansions take to make, and which took longer? Well, I'm fairly sure that you can work out the second question from the first, but I'll do my best to answer both anyways. So with Ghosted Mansions, it's quite simple. I'd say with Ghosted Mansions probably... well, let's see. I'd say probably about... So, work on it, maybe 5-6 months. But then again, I was learning a lot back then, and that was... Why is it... Oh, right. I'm on the wrong tool. Yeah. Living Art, I'd say probably about the same length of time, but with Living Art, there were several... Basically, the thing is, I worked on it to a specific point where I felt that it was feature complete, but then there were a whole lot of other things that needed to be done with it that I just wasn't able to do at that point in time. Like, for example, Steam integration. I didn't even have a Steam developer account back then. So setting all of that up and then integrating achievements with that and making the menus better and all of those kind of things, which now, if I were to do them, then in the entire game now, I think I'd probably be able to do Living Art in like maybe 3 months, I'd say, if I worked on it, if that was the only project I worked on. But that's the thing. I mean, even with Ghosted Mansions, back when I made it, I was really happy with it, and it was like state-of-the-art, shared ice technology. But now I have learned so much more. I mean, I'm still learning about Unity and game development constantly. And there are so many things that I could do so much better now that I think that Ghosted Mansions, it doesn't meet the standard that I set for myself now. It doesn't meet it anymore, which is why when I release that, I'll probably have to overhaul large parts of it, which means that I will have to work with a code that I wrote like 4 years ago, which this is actually an interesting thing. If you haven't written any computer programming before, because there are so many different ways you can do things in coding and so many different methods of writing things, ways of putting things together, you'll find that code evolves with experience. So, for example, code that I wrote a year ago will be much less organized than it's now, and a lot of it is, like, for example, in one thing, like where the navigation's points are set, like for the ghosts to spawn at, not spawn at, walk to, rather, which is the player. No, the other way around, where they're being spawned at. The code that does that, that's in the game now, I think takes like 20 lines of code, whereas if I wrote it now, I could do it in 3, simply because I know so much more about how a lot of things work. And then working with that old code is just so frustrating because it makes things so much more difficult and slower, which is why I would probably need to overhaul lots of that as well, and then it can be quicker to just start the project over using the ideas from the old game and maybe even some of the models. But just building it from the ground up can actually be quicker and more efficient than if you tried to make the old thing, to update the old thing. But I don't know. I would need to update it to the newer Unity versions first of all, then fix all of the animations, which for some reason seem to be broken. And then I'd need to look through the old code to actually figure out what I'd need to update, what I need to change, and then do with that. Yeah. So to answer your question, I'd say that Ghosted Mansions, with learning all of that, because that's when I first learned how to do navigation, so nav meshes in Unity, which took a long time. So all in all, I'd say probably like 5 or 6 months. Living Art, not that long. I'd say probably more on the side of 5 months working continuously, but I did again have to put that project on hold several times. And then I did also make the last session, the Space Rock, stage, act. The Space Rock stage with the lava. I made that when I came back to the project this year or last year, I'm not sure which then also added about maybe another month of work. So I think all in all, Living Art took longer, even though the brunt of the project took longer with Ghosted Mansions. So there you go, that answers your question. Now I'll just read chat. I would think that Mansions would take longer. Why is that? Ghosted Mansions achievement, successfully spooked. Kangfango. As far as I can tell, Mansions is a first-person game with detailed graphics and a more different gameplay style, whilst Living Art is quite simple in comparison, not in an insult in any way. Oh no, I didn't think it was an insult, but the thing is that actually Living Art is much more complicated than Ghosted Mansions. I know that it looks simpler, but it's much more different. For example, in the Space Rock stage, those little robots that when they spot you, chase after you, and they can jump onto blocks, basically can jump up blocks and follow you around, and then that kind of thing. That is so much more complicated than if you have a ghost that is just using A-star pathfinding to travel along a 2D plane to where the player is. yeah, because that's already built into Unity. So living art is actually, yeah, it's actually much more complicated. And if I had made living art at the same time that I made Ghosted Mansions, then I'd say living art would have taken maybe 2 or 3 times as long to make than Ghosted Mansions. Luckily, I made living art later, which meant I had more experience, more knowledge, and so on. Fango, is that achievement for the first time a ghost gets you? Yeah, true. The achievement I've just made up for myself. Yeah. Maybe if Sharedise decides to implement it. Maybe. Yes, let's go! Sharedise, what coding language do you use? I use C#, because Unity used to support C#, JavaScript, which is different from Java. They're 2 different things. And BooScript, which I know would be oddly appropriate for Ghosted Mansions, but they dropped support for BooScript, so that now they're only supporting C# and JavaScript, which again is different to actual Java. But yeah, C# is better in a lot of ways than JavaScript, at least if you know what you're doing, because in JavaScript, a lot of things are simplified, which is good if you're a beginner, but if you already know what you're doing, then it can be quite limiting. For example, in JavaScript, if you make a new variable, then you just need to type var, and then what kind of variable you would like, and basically assign it a value. That's it. Which means that changing the privacy level of the variable, so whether it's public or static or serializable or private or all those sort of things, is a bit harder to do. Whereas in C#, you have to assign a level of privacy to a variable no matter what, which if you're new and you don't really need to use privacy settings for variables, then it just adds more complication. Whereas if you're more experienced, it's you can do a lot more with it, I think. Although, to be honest, I haven't used JavaScript in a long time, so maybe it is actually much more in depth than I give it credit for, and I just didn't know enough back then to realize it. That's also a possibility. But from what I remember, that is the case. Which would also be supported by the fact that every single tutorial that I find about any subject that is at least somewhat advanced in Unity always uses C#. Which is also another plus, that there is a larger support in the community for C# than JavaScript. Right. Ghosted Mansions remastered. Yeah, I think I may have forgotten to read that. Yes. C# from what I know, yes. Sharedise is much confused. Sharedise is much confused, I see. At least I use C#. I can't C#. I see. I get the joke. Yeah. I mean, but that's what you've got glasses for. So that's good. Ooh, oh, that's a nice face. Sharedise, Space Rock is so good. Love the music on that too. Thank you very much. Yes. I always wanted to have a kind of volcano, lava, space-themed stage in Living Art. But when I first made it, I didn't know how to do a lot of the things that I wanted to do in the stage, so I dropped it out. But when I revisited Living Art recently to finally finish it and upload it to Steam, which it still hasn't happened because I need to make the hero images, which means I need a font, which is more complicated than you'd think it would be. I did decide to put it in. And I'm really glad that I did, because that now finally finishes off the story arc of Living Art, at least of the game, not the global story arc, because as you know, well, you watching this archived or without an account will probably not know this, but Mr. W and Kango Fango know this. All of my games, so far at least, are set in the same universe, the same continuity, which means that I can do all sorts of fun things connecting them. So yes, the story of Living Art is not over, but the story of Living Art, the game, is. It's finished. Right. Spoilers. Kang Fango, the music in general in Living Art is great. Oh, thank you very much. Yes, I made it myself. I'm actually really surprised at how good it turned out. Because I did make music for some other games before, but that was many years ago. So yes, I was actually quite surprised at that. I'm glad that it turned out as good as it did. Yes, really catchy. Shed Ice. Oh geez, I remember those little pests. I think you mean the little robots. The little robots. They like to hide behind things if you don't remember. I remember the first time some of the playtesters played that when I was actually standing beside them, which was back when that didn't cause all sorts of issues with track and trace. But yeah, back in the good days, where you could actually stand beside your friend while they were playtesting your game, I remember that some of those little robots in stage 4 were actually quite startling. They were just jumping around, then jumping down there, and then that beeping sound of them registering you and following them was actually quite startling to a lot of the players. So, yeah. Same. And the big green one. Wow, kudos to you then. Thank you. Is there a plot in Ghosted Mansions? Yes, there is. Because why would you... Because there is a reason why you are in all of these locations that are abandoned with these summoners, with a ghost and things like that. There is a story behind that, which is another thing. I don't think that I told it well enough in Ghosted Mansions the way it is, because you could easily play that and and think, oh, this is just the situation for the game, and there's not any deeper meaning behind that. Which is another thing I think I'd improve on to connect the games more. Shadice, I think you missed Mr. W's message above. Yeah, true. Did I? Where is it? I'm not sure. Oh, you mean your message? Yeah, true. 1 second. Well, a few more seconds, maybe. I can't really find it. What? Oh, right there. No, that's the one you wrote. Really? Spoilers, there we go. Oh, that one. Oh, right, yeah, the one that I did miss and then read. Right, yeah, I did catch that. That is fun. Aren't there ways of ordering things in code, one of which randomizes them until they're ordered correctly, was made as a joke? I think so. It's... Oh, I forget what it's called. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, I just can't remember the name. Yeah, Tom Scott uses JavaScript because he says that it's easier to use and explain for his videos, and also because it works for his budgie programming style. Yeah, it is easier to use and easier to explain things, because in C# there are a lot of words in front and behind a lot of things that you really don't need if you're a beginner, but that you do need to explain, otherwise they'll confuse anybody or everybody. Like, for example, if you're making a new function, like you want to call something, like when the player presses the letter P on the keyboard, you want to call a function. You want to call a function. Then to write out the function, you need to put in void, then the name of the function, and then put in the parentheses, brackets, and things. Now that void, you don't need in I'd say maybe 80% of the time, you're going to use void. You don't need to put anything else there, but it's really confusing if you don't explain it. Now what that void actually means is the return type. It's because you can actually have functions that kind of run as sort of a script as a variable. So if you have a variable that's actually a function, you can put in numbers, then run some code, and then return the output number back into the variable, which means that you need to define what output number, what return value it's going to have, which is where if it doesn't return anything, you can put in void, which is what you will do most of the time. But yeah, that sort of thing. So are JavaScript variables always public? I forget. I don't remember. I honestly don't remember. Finishly finished. Shy Dice. Yeah, Shy Dice. Living art is told not really by words, but by images. Yes, that's true. That is true. Which is actually a lot harder than it might look. And of course, the entity. Spoilers! Yes, the entity. The entity has had influence in some of my games so far, but, well, indirect influence. I've not gotten to the point yet where I can fully include the entity in a story, because it's just such a powerful being that it needs a proper story that is kind of focused around it, which I haven't had a game that kind of lends itself to that yet. But that can change very, very quickly. Shadow's Poppy's music was really good too. Thank you, yes. I mean, I think it was really good, yes. But not great. It wasn't great. It was good, but it did get repetitive quite a lot, and there was a really strange rhythmic structure to it. I'm not sure what the proper term for that would be, but yeah, it was a bit strange, which can be good, but it wasn't really what I was going for at the time. But yeah, yes, I remember that. Guys, scared me half to death. What? You mean the thing jumping out from behind? You mean the little robot guy jumping out from behind a pillar or what it was? Well, I'm glad it only scared you half to death. It's not really that scary. Von Bahnstaub Mansion, yes. Are you there to destroy/stop the summoners? It's not that. The thing is, the summoners are off when you get there, and you have to activate them and then get out before you're caught. Which means that, well, it's difficult to explain now without spoiling everything. I think it's fair enough to say that your end goal involves emptying the summoners, releasing the ghosts. Yes. Which I know sounds like an evil plot, but it's not necessarily evil. My favorite level in Ghosted Mansions would probably be level 3, Hauntwood Forest. It's so atmospheric. Oh yes, right, thanks. Yeah, I really like that as well. Although there were some issues with the shader that I used for the rocks there. Like, it didn't render properly on some hardware, which, I mean, probably isn't that big of an issue now. But that is something I would need to look into when I continue with Ghosted Mansions. Trainz, never mind, you did read it after all. Yeah. Yes. I've not played it, so I wouldn't know. Never played a horror game before. Are you sure? Didn't you play Ghosted Mansions? Didn't you test play it? Or maybe you watched Tom play it, that could be the case. Although I thought that you also gave it a try. Maybe I'm misremembering it. Shadow's Bodge is pronounced botch. Strange. I'm surprised he hasn't heard of... Oh right, bodging things together in code. No, I have heard of the word. I've just never seen it written down, because that's not the kind of word that people use in essays or plot or tutorials or things or manuals, like botching things. Doesn't really get used that much. It doesn't sound what's the word? Elegant enough, not professional enough. Yeah, but I do know the word. I just didn't recognize it as that word. It's not that scary. It's more spooky, to me at least. Yeah, but if you turn around and there's a ghost right there. What about Gaelrock Lighthouse? Mr. W asks to Kango Fango. It can be startling, but I still wouldn't classify it as scary. From what I've seen, it isn't scary either. Yeah, Gaelrock Lighthouse is going to play much more on atmospheric horror, like paranoia, like that. You know that feeling when okay, say your bedroom is on the first floor, so not ground floor, first floor, and you're down in the living room on the ground floor. Everything's happy. It's nighttime outside, and you're having fun. The rest of the family's already gone to bed, and when you stop playing, you realize that it's up to you to turn off the lights and then go up the stairs and go to bed. And the moment you realize that, you're terrified. Not because you think there's anything specifically dangerous about being in the living room when the lights are out, but just the inherent feeling of danger. It kind of paranoia. That feeling that if I turn that corner, you feel like there's gonna be something there. You feel like you can't turn that corner or look down the stairs. Or if you go into a dark stairwell, if you look up those stairs, even though you know there's nobody in the house because you would have heard if someone broke in, or it's so unrealistic or so unlikely that someone's actually there, that feeling you get when you open the door, you look into the dark stairwell, and you look up the staircase, and you see the handrail going up to the landing. Just, you imagine that there's somebody standing up there. You think that, you feel that, even though you know it's not the case. That is the feeling that I'm going for Gaelrock Lighthouse, at least some of the time. Because it's not a complete horror game. No, it's a simulation of working as a lighthouse keeper. Yeah, so you do all the usual stuff of logging ships that pass by, making sure the The beacon is on in the night. Make sure you have enough supplies, things like that. Maybe even hobbies like bird watching, things like that. But when it's nighttime, I want to put the loneliness of that through as well. Because I know in real life, there were, mostly several people as lighthouse keepers, but in this case, it's only one person. And the only contact you have is via the telephone, which I've deliberately placed at the very bottom of the lighthouse, right beside the door that leads outside. So, and the thing is, you have to go to the telephone at midnight, because at midnight, the call comes through when ships are expected to arrive. Since you have to log the time that a ship arrives, that all ships arrive, and their names, you need to know when they arrive. The only time to find that out is to listen to accept the call, to listen what the guy on the other side says, and then to remember that or to write it down. Which means that at midnight, you have to go out of your comfy room in the lighthouse, but not out of the lighthouse, but basically the spiral staircase goes out around the outside, and the rooms are on the inside of the lighthouse. So the staircase goes around the outside of the rooms, but still inside. Okay, basically, there are the outer walls, then a spiral staircase goes around inside of them, and then inside of that are where the rooms are, like a column of rooms in the inside. So you have to open the door and look out onto that spiraling staircase in the dark, and go down with a flashlight, because you want to conserve power, because the amount of fuel that you request diminishes your reputation with your bosses. So then you have to go all the way down to the ground floor of the lighthouse, where the door to the outside is. And the way that you answer the telephone, you can't look at the door. Yes, you can look at the door after you've answered it, but you go all the way down there, and you're right by the only thing that separates the inside from the outside at night. And you're the only one on the island. And then you answer the telephone, and you can hear the air conditioning on the other side of the telephone, like in the office where you're being called from, and you can just hear that one voice talking about all sorts of stuff and prolonging things, and just that feeling. And then when some things happen, like maybe a door is left open, maybe it opens by itself, maybe you forgot to close it, maybe a window rattles, maybe you hear some creaking in the floor above you, and yes, you explain it away as being the wind, because it's quite windy out there in the ocean by the lighthouse. But that wind sounded eerily like footsteps, didn't it? No, it surely there can't be anything here. But it's a game, meaning that I can put anything I want there. So maybe there are ghosts. Or maybe someone's living on the island with you who's hiding during the night, during the day, and then at night comes out to find food. Maybe you're not alone. Maybe there's someone there with you. And then when you have to open that door, go out down the spiral staircase, down to the hall, to answer the telephone, which your job and livelihood depends on. That feeling, that's what I'm going for in Gaelic Lighthouse. But then, of course, the sun rises, and it's a fresh day. You can hear seagulls crying outside, and the wind died down. You can see, as the sun shimmers on the waves, you can see the town by the coast, and everything's safe and fine until it gets dark again. And things escalate. And that is the kind of feeling that I want to achieve with Gaelic Lighthouse, because the isolation and dependency on that one person that comes with a game set on a lighthouse is just perfect for that. And so I don't want to pass up the opportunity. So now I'll read the chat. I bet there's a lot of chat to read. Let me just find my shoe 1 second. There it is. Okay. What about Gary's Lighthouse? Miss W, it can... Alright. Would classify it as scary. From what I've seen, it isn't scary either. Yeah, I guess so. At least not yet. Maybe. Oh, right. I don't know, XD. Isn't it like psychologically taxing? Yes. So, in a timeline, living out takes place before all the ones that contain things affected by the entity as the little pot releases him. Well, not necessarily, because someone imprisoned the entity. So, maybe the events that led up to that, or contributed to that, could also take place in a game. Maybe you're playing a game that's not connected to anything, and maybe it's an RPG, and if you talk to just some travelers from a far-off kingdom who've come by boat, maybe they'll mention that the gods have smited a city at the southern coast of Rashondka, and it's, yeah, maybe something like that. Or maybe the shadow has blighted the crops, or maybe something like that, or maybe people blame it on something. Maybe that thing is the entity. It could be. But then again, it probably isn't. I mean, what are the chances? What are the chances, I tell ya? Shadows, I think... it always scrolls too much. Shadows, I think you're thinking of a time signature. Not sure what that's referring to anymore. Yes. Yeah! I'm jumping, damn it! Why? Why are you jumping? Oh, you mean because of the little bots? Yeah. They are kind of cute, aren't they? The way they're always chasing you. But they're smart enough to not jump in lava. Yes. Why do you activate them in the first place? Well, they're security bots. They sense the motion, they sense an intruder, and then they try to stop that intruder. So, yes, the intruder just happens to be you. Shy Dice, the bit about the puppies music I liked was the bit at the beginning where it went, well, I can't tell you via text, but you know what I mean, probably. Yeah, probably. I think I know what you mean. Shy Dice, jumpy. Oh, I see. It's very unlikely I'll play it, as any kind of horror game, even unintentional jump scares would make me go DX. Yeah, it's... I think it's not really... It's not really jump scare as much as it is tension in Ghosted Mansions. Because in the beginning, you've got all the time in the world to explore the level, plan out your route. But then that moment when you touch one of the summoners, and it glows, and it starts that sound, you know things are going to happen. You know you're on the clock. You know you've gone past the point of no return. And then those silent floating ghosts that are always chasing you, not that fast, they're actually quite slow, is more tension building. There's more tension there, more stress, rather than actual, what I would classify as classic horror. Shy Dice, nope and nope. Don't know what that's talking about. I tested Living Art, but not Ghost Dimension. Oh, right, that. Oh, I see. The expression bot job. I see. I've heard it quite a few times when referring to buses. Misplaced grills and duct tape bumpers. Oh, I see, yeah. No, I hate that. I hate the dark. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. I'm quite comfortable with the dark. I quite like it. I think the dark is cozy. But I know exactly what that feels like. Yeah. I'm glad that from the reaction I got in chat, you can imagine the kind of thing I'm going for. Right? God, I've had that so many times. Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is, it's so... That kind of thing, that kind of fear, it feels primal in a way. Like, it goes against all logic. It goes against reason. Because you know you're safe. You know you're in your house. You know everything's okay. But at the same time, something inside you is telling you that it's not okay. Something's telling you that when you turn out the lights and you're alone in the dark in the living room, you need to sprint up those stairs. You need to get into bed and cover yourself before something terrible happens. Even though that feeling's illogical, you know that it's illogical. You know that it doesn't make any sense. You know that you don't need to listen to that because your rational mind is telling you that everything is okay, you're not in danger. But still, there is that thing. Far-fetched. Unnatural, unjustified, illogical horror. Yes. Horror point stairway. There's probably a word for that. Yeah, probably. Shadow dice. And aren't there a few actual supernatural occurrences, such as doors and the boiler? Maybe. I think the doors... The thing is, I might put in supernatural things, but the player will have to trigger them. So the player... I'll probably have some sort of invisible counter that maybe measures the times the player maybe went outside at night, or whatever, maybe a counter, so the player does certain things, and then maybe something supernatural will happen. But most things, like the doors or the boiler, are things that can be explained away. Like, the door is open, even though you know you closed it. Well, it's an old lighthouse. It's creaky, the wind could have blown it open. The boiler went out. Well, it could be that maybe there was a... Actually, no, it's not a boiler, it's a generator. So the generator went out. I mean, there are so many things. Maybe it's old wiring. Maybe it's shoddy workmanship. Maybe a fuse blows. Well, that can also easily happen. All the lights go out. Well, but it could be something supernatural. The lights go out. Yes, it could be just that it's an old place, but it could be something trying to lure you outside of those protecting walls of the lighthouse. It could be something that wants you to go out there in the dark, over to the other building to try to repair the fuses. But surely it's just the oldness of the building. You see what I mean? Things that are able to be explained away. And yes, I do need another baseboard back here. Shadows, I love the guy's voice in Gale Rock. Thanks. Shadows in Generator, yes. It's so brilliant. Announcer? Not quite. Person who calls? Telephone guy. Yes, telephone. Yeah. Making the viewer expect jump scares. Viewer? I thought we were talking about games. Yeah, jump scares is one thing. But if you're expecting a jump scare, it's not really that scary, because then all you think about is trying to brace yourself for a jump scare. Okay, I'm bracing, and then a lot of the actual horror can pass you by, because all you're doing is trying to expect the jump scare, so all of the tension and suspense that's happening all around you gets lost. So not really jump scares, more uneasiness is, I think, a better word for it. Shadows, if I may, are you a genius? Or you are a genius? I thought you were asking. Well, I mean, who am I to stop you? Who am I to... well... Miss W, without actually delivering them. Yeah, but that's kind of cheap. If you make the audience expect jump scares and then you just don't deliver them, yes, it can build tension, because then you think, okay, the jump scare didn't happen the last 5 times, so it's overdue, it has to happen now. Then that is again distracting. But I don't know, maybe it can be executed in a good way. It's just from my experience. Yeah, yeah, but more than that, you know? You ever tried making a video game, Kingfanger? Shadice, you've brought me to realize that I forgot just how amazing Galerock was. Is! I'm glad I could help. Shadice, you are a master of manipulation. That's amazing. Thank you. I missed the thing. Yeah, the scrolling is a bit weird in this. It sometimes scrolls down way too much and it scrolls up way too much. I think I'll use the sidebar. There we go. Master manipulation. That's it. Well, I find it quite easy to empathize with people. I find it quite easy to put myself in the place of others, which is why if I want to manipulate someone, like for example when I'm making a video game or when I'm GMing a roleplay session, then for me it's not that difficult usually to try to anticipate how people will be feeling and what they'll be thinking at certain points in time, so that makes it easier to manipulate someone. But luckily, I'm an honest person, which means that I limit that use of manipulation to things where it's actually good. Like, for example, if I'm GMing a roleplay game, or if I'm making a video game or a movie, things like that, where you want to basically, where I'm using it to deliver the best possible experience. That's the best way of putting that. Kangafango, it sounds bloody terrifying. Yes! Seagulls crying? They're chirping. Chirping? Really, seagulls? Kangafango, I would be sweating so hard with terror if I played it. Right? Maybe not. Kangafango, every single thing would make me jump. Oh yes. This stream is so amazing. Thank you. It's due to the chat. It's due to the chat, really. Because the chat thing is, I find it quite easy to talk about a subject when it's already going. But when I have to start a subject on my own to talk about, then not that great, usually. Anyway. May there be a game where someone traps the entity? That is a very likely thing, yes. Shadice, oh my god, if you made an RPG, that would be amazing. Thank you. Thanks. I appreciate the compliment. Yeah, but the thing is, what I find difficult about that is, one, the sheer size of it, because I'm one developer and making an entire RPG does take huge amounts of work. But other than that, I think it can be quite tricky to make an RPG that stays interesting for extended periods of time without having fighting in it. Which I think it's a thing that is definitely solvable. I think that it just takes a lot of careful planning and execution, which yeah, I mean, at the moment I'm trying to focus more on smaller projects that I can finish more quickly and put up for sale. But at some point, I definitely do want to make an RPG. Yeah. Kangfango, I know, right? If nothing else, because of the chats we have. Yes. Maybe, but to me personally, it wasn't really scary. The game isn't done yet though, so it might change. Oh, it will definitely change. Yeah, you missed it. I said jumpy. You mean with a little asterisk? I did see when you said jumpy. I did actually read that out. Maybe you missed it. Or maybe I did miss it and I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, the bots are cute. Well, cute. No, in Ghosted Mansions, the summoners. Oh right, the summoners. Summoner. Brr, yes. Tension? Yeah, I'd agree with that. The irrational fear of the dark. Yes. The irrational fear of the dark is something that people have been taking advantage of for literally hundreds of years. Both in entertainment and in other in other areas as well. Need a little bit of water. Shy Dice. That's what horror movies do. They make you think you're safe, then you turn around and couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Shy Dice. I'd add a baseboard there, behind the camera, right now. Apparently I had the same idea because, wouldn't you know it, there are baseboards there. Shy Dice. The player triggering supernatural things without knowing them. Oh, yes. Shy Dice. That's so genius. Thank you. I think the way I'd do it is probably if the player does things which seem like they'd be a bit iffy, like a bit bad, like maybe... Okay, maybe when one of the shipments comes with a... Actually, I need to think of what I want to do next. Right, I'll lay the tracks next. Right, so maybe if a shipment comes, because you do get regular supply shipments, so things like food, diesel fuel, spare parts, fuses, equipment, things like that. Maybe there is a little bag with some mysterious seeds in them. You don't know what they are, it just says mysterious seeds. So you decide to plant them in a flower pot. Yeah? Now that might add a few points to that invisible counter. Same as maybe if they do grow, and they flower, and then eventually a fruit grows. It's a fruit you've never seen before, you don't know what it is, but a fruit grows. Then if you eat that fruit, that might add another few points to that counter. Things like that. Or maybe if you spend an entire night outside, in the dark. Basically, yeah, at night, dark, obviously. That might add more to that as well. So basically, as your paranoia grows, the actual chance of supernatural things happening in-game grows as well. So, yeah, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy in that regard. That's so genius. Thank you. I know, right? So good. Good? What does it stand for? Graphical user detention? I have no idea what that stands for. It's like, I know I'm safe, but maybe whatever is watching me wants me to think that. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, there's always a possibility of the abnormal, yeah. If you have to travel between buildings, I think I'd feel safer outdoors. I'll have to make sure that's not the case. Player, sorry. Oh, right, I see. Miss W, just saw your message about if I ever thought about making a video game. I've started a load of them since 2012 when I first started using Unity, but I haven't finished one yet. That's like me with books. Yeah, although, You did finish the Elrond Cave one. I forget what name you decided on. You know, the one that you originally called Journey to Elrond Cave. That one you finished. Can't find XD. Alright, also 2012? Not that early, I don't think. The one I'm working on at the moment is a 3D platform that's supposed to feel like the ones from the 1990s. Yes, that's true. N64, PS1, etc. Alright. Oh, that's cool. I have no idea what that's referencing. Thank you. The base spot's already there, never mind. Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm really glad you're an honest person. Me too, me too, me too. But then again, isn't that something that a dishonest person would have no trouble saying? Right, so, because I want the river to go up here, like it's quite a bit steeper, the track would also already need to be quite high, so maybe around here. So now if I apply the height to these, maybe put on a gradient, like a negative gradient, and then work backwards from there. If he wasn't, the world would be doomed. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about the violence. Maybe a JRPG or an RPG style game, but that's with talking and non-combat. Like in a school or town environment. Yeah, but then that can get very boring. I think that there's definitely a balance that can be found there. And things like that. Things that have to do with that. But I think it's definitely difficult to do. To do well, that is. Shudders. Oh, it will definitely change. Everyone shudders. Well, then I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. But then again, is a fear of the dark really that irrational? Because you're more likely to, if nothing else, trip up because you can't see. That is true. That is true. But the fear of the dark, to the extent that a lot of people have, is irrational. And we've, I think, reached the height that I wanted it to stop at. Right. Because especially if you think about it from the other point of view, so that if you're in the dark, yes, it's harder to see things, but if there's anything after you, it's also harder for it to see you. So that way of thinking about it actually makes the dark more comforting than distressing, I suppose is the best word to use that. Shadows, you are damn dedicated to read that out. Yes, I know, I was. Maybe. I'd say it depends. If there are things to trip over, and you're just terrified of the things you'd trip over, then yeah, it would be irrational. I don't know what that fruit is, but I'll eat it. You'd be surprised how accurate that is to a lot of players in video games. Also characters in movies, oddly enough. I mean, if you're in a video game, if you're playing a video game, I mean, and you see a fruit and you see a tooltip pop up and it says, press E to eat, then I guarantee you that a player will eat that. They see, oh, I have the option to eat this thing. Well, let's eat it then. Yeah. So, I think that to a lot of people, it doesn't really occur that doing strange or dangerous things in a video game is a bad idea, even though you are given the option to do it. So yeah. Right, so I'll get this to roughly where I want it, because there needs to be enough space for a bridge to cross over. Right, so I think this is probably good enough. Shy dice. If it's the fruit, then it might just be hallucination. Yes, I mean, there wouldn't really be ghosts about, would there? Yeah, it's a hallucination. Because, yeah, the fruit, it's the fruit, nothing more than that. You ate a bad fruit, you were hallucinating, and that's it. Definitely no reason to lock the door next time it gets dark. Shy dice, you told amazing GTC speeches. Thanks. Graphical user driver shared. Oh, I see. GTC? Now you've set him off. Yeah, GDC is Game Developers Conference, I think. Yeah. I hope that they return in person. I've never actually gone to one, but I've seen a lot of live streams, and I think it would be really good to go there both as someone who's giving a speech or a talk, and as someone who's attending that. But I'm not sure that I'll get the chance to do that if they don't come back in person. Anyway. Right, I'll need to change some of this landscape around. Actually, do I? I think the river could go quite close to the tracks here, actually. I think that might be good. If it went kind of like this, maybe. And if the river's down here. Shy dice, no! You cruel, cruel man! Making me feel unsafe wherever I go. Oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't my intention. Kangfinger, how is this my fault? True. That's such a funny thing, because it's reading that out of context. It's like, okay, the first thing is, Mr. W, now you've set him off. And then, no, you're a cruel, cruel man, making me feel unsafe wherever I go. And then Kangafango, how is this my fault? And then the next one is, I mean, all of that is capitalized, shouting, and the next one is just true. Just lowercase true. Yes, Game Developers Conference. Shy dice. And I called it the hike. Shy dice and I called it the hike. Even by the name sounds cool. Oh, I see. Yeah. DX. Oh. Yeah, true. A dishonest person would even enjoy saying that, I think. Yeah. Shy dice, it's amazing how you can do route building and storytelling at the same time. Yeah, not so much at the moment because I'm reading thing, but that's not really storytelling, that's just reading feedback. And they say man can't multitask. Yeah, you keep bringing that thing up. Shy dice, even if it is dark, the thing chasing you may be able to see in the dark. True, that's true. Shy dice, except if the thing's talking to you is waiting for you behind a corner, or if it's supernatural or both. Yeah. If it says press E to eat, you just can't resist. Snap, yeah. Yeah, but how do you know that the character doesn't know what it is? Well, I'm assuming that the character knows about as much as the player. I need to find a good bridge. The player may not, but the character in that universe might. Yeah, that is a good point. And it is not an easy thing to... it can be quite difficult, because if the player does something that you're like, oh, it's just because I don't live there. He should have known that. And that is a valid point. Geez, the fruit reminds me of the Star Trek magic mushrooms shenanigans. It was more spores, but yeah, I know what you mean. Right, maybe this bridge. I'm just looking for a good bridge for this area. If you couldn't tell. XD. Makes no sense out of context. Yeah, although you can put together some things. Basically, there was a tree involved, someone wanted to get some mushrooms out of it, someone else climbed up them, threw them down, and then the spores went in their eyes and then embedded themselves behind them, which is right by the brain, which then caused some things to happen. Yeah. Shy Guys, maybe it's a British thing, but it's a relatively famous stereotype. I have heard that in movies, like someone saying, "Oh, men can't stereotype." Yes, men can't stereotype. Multitask. I meant to say multitask, but I've never found a basis in reality for that. It just sounds like somewhat annoying things some people say. Actually, this bridge might be better. Yeah, I think that's a better one. That bridge, yes. The mushrooms thing sounds gross. It was. And he's back to the top of the chat. Yay! I can stereotype. See? No, I'm typing on the left side, and now I'm typing on the right side. There we go. Yes, Shaz, it's a stereotype. It's not meant to be true. Yes, you're right. But the thing is, in most stereotypes, there is a kernel of truth. Like, for example, a popular one is the tea of Britain. Like, people in Britain with their tea and their sitting down with like their little finger extended, which, fun fact, is actually from medieval times when they used to put salt on the finger and then to lick it off because they didn't want to get that finger dirty, so they extended that out. So it's their little bowls where they put salt out and then ate it to a meal. But anyway, so which is why it's connected with nobility, because the poorer people wouldn't necessarily have had access to salt in a lot of throughout a lot of history. No, that's not really to the point. But yeah, there is usually a kernel of truth to some of those things. Yes, a lot of the time they're horribly exaggerated and don't make much sense, but still, there is that thing. Which is why, I mean, some stereotypes are fun. I mean, for example, the evil German scientist. Yeah, I mean, that is a fun stereotype. Yes, there is some truth to that, considering that a lot of the scientists that Germany had in World War II then went on to American employment. Actually, a lot of them are NASA, the founding fathers of NASA. So there is some truth to that, but that's a funny thing. That is a fun stereotype. But the thing about men not being able to multitask just reminds me of all of the needless political correctness about genders and the differences between them, because there are definitely differences. There are biological differences as well as anatomical, no, that's actually the same thing, differences, which then result in other things. So, for example, the size of certain bones is different from one gender to the other because it helps in childbirth, for example. So there are differences. And if you think about history, where the longest history of humanity is where people needed to go out and work, either hunting things or working as a laborer to earn a living, to earn food, to support a family, which in the past, for the largest part of humanity, was quite a dangerous thing. So it would make sense that the male of a species, which it is scientifically proven that human males do have, what's the word? Muscles. Muscles grow quicker in males than they do in females. That's just a biological genetic thing. that's just the way it is. It's not a thing about, oh, but there's complete equality, because from biology, that's not true. So it would make sense that the whole thing about nursing children, and then it would make sense basically for it to evolve that the males would go outside and earn food, either hunting or through living from a historical point of view. And that's where that stereotype comes from, of the housewife who stays home and the man who goes out to work. Yes, in modern life, in modern Western life at least, that is untrue. Yeah, because technology enables so many, makes so many things not just easier for, well, not just easy for one way, but for everybody. For example, we've got tractors. Yeah, there's no need to drive a plow across a field with a bull that you have to steer. Yeah, which means that a lot of the things have become more equal. Opportunities have become more equal based on the biology of different genders, which means that in modern times, it is true that the idea of the housewife is not necessarily a necessary one, but at one point, it really was, if you think about it. So a lot of those stereotypes come from there, but those aren't fun stereotypes, because that is connected with so many people trying to turn biology into something else. All of that political correctness about so many things, like that, oh, companies have to hire this much percentage of female workers as they do male workers, so that they're gender equal. Yes, on paper that might sound great, but then it's going wrong the other way, because then that means that a man who is very skilled at this job doesn't get hired because he's not a woman. So then you've not only stopped that, but you've started going back the other way. You've started rolling down the hill. So, yeah, and to me, those kind of stereotypes just bring to mind all of that stuff. It would be really applicable to use a swear word there, but I won't at this point. You can just pick one and imagine that I said that. Which is why, for me, those kind of stereotypes aren't fun. Whereas the stereotype of the evil German scientist is fun to me. Anyway, I think that's probably enough about that. Now, yes, Shadais, that's why it's people say. Shadais, you really are a fountain of knowledge. I strive to be. More like waterfall. Yes, but people still say T, or rather, it. And it allows me to take the mic. Yeah, that's true, that's true. Or like the dam, actually. And the lake is all the knowledge. Yeah, sure. Shadais, you can do brilliant crazy eyes. So, you would probably make a good mad scientist. Yeah, well, that's really a good compliment. I like being able to do good crazy eyes. Right, so I think that's good. Now I'll just kind of fly along the track to see if some of the curves are wrong, because none of this is straightened. It's all just naturally flowing curves. I think it's good enough for this area, because it's supposed to be not that well maintained, so having some kind of bends in the track like here, where it kind of swivels back and forth a bit, is actually quite realistic. Although saying that, I think this one might be better if it was straightened. Yeah, that's better. But then that kind of puts this one out of place a little bit. I actually, no, I won't straighten it, because straightening that then makes this bend. Actually, did I? Oh no, that didn't change it that much. This one was already kind of like this, which means that I do kind of need to straighten a little bit in here, like this probably. And I will read chat in a second. 21, there we go. Try this. Right. Testosterone. Alright, testosterone. Yeah. I like how he took a while to get muscles. No, I was trying I was trying to think of the specific term that refers to muscle growth and how quickly that happens, because there is a specific term which also applies to a lot of animals. And I forget what it was called, so then I just said, basically I described what I meant rather than actually saying what I meant, meaning I said muscles. Actually, I don't like this little bulge. I don't like it. It obscures the view. This is better. I might smooth it out later a bit. Yeah, sometimes people get offended by facts. Yeah, that's true. Although, it depends on your use of the word offended, because on the one hand, if someone says what they say is a fact, and then the other person goes mad and say, oh no, how could you say that? That's offensive, that's not true, no, that's offensive to me. Yeah, it's a fact, well, I don't care, it's offensive. Then I really hate it. But if it's more questioning, like someone says a fact, and then someone else who's convinced that that is false, or maybe has suspicion that it's false, and says, why do you believe that? What are your sources? I don't think that is true. And then you can talk about it. That I'm all for. That is great. So it depends on what you use by offended, because people use the word offended quite loosely nowadays. So it really depends on your usage of it. Yeah. He just keeps going, doesn't he? Yeah. Shall I? What I love is that even though this is going to YouTube, on YouTube, you're giving out opinions that could be considered controversial, but you don't give a damn. Well, actually, I already kind of gave one, so here you go. There it is. Yeah. Although I am being a bit careful about my wording, if you've noticed, because this is going out on YouTube. Yeah. So, if I wasn't being careful about my wording, it would be completely different. Completely different. Right, I need to make this a bit steeper, like 2% maybe. Yeah, and then just sort of make it go vaguely around in this direction. I think that should be fine for now. Right, oh, we've gone past 11. I think that's a good place to end it. I need to get a thumbnail. I'll just quickly hide the UI. Oh, I'd like to get the bridge in this. Oh, now that is a good thumbnail, I think. Just of like this. That's good. Right, so thumbnail now, and exit Trainz now, and then I'll quickly read the chat, and I'll end the stream. Going over to the ready stream. At least he gave a damn. Yeah. Further down the lake. Yes. Kango fango. Yeah, to me that face that's like this on that always looks like it's a monkey's who's grabbing his head. I don't know why. The face just looks so scrunched up on there. Hehehe. Yeah, Shard Ice. Shard Ice, I would argue that that's not being offended. I would say that that's just not believing something you've been told. Yes, and that's absolutely true. It's just a lot of people get offended by someone who's differing in opinion, or somebody who maybe has a different understanding of what something means. See a lot of the controversial topics, like for example, with a lot of people even being a vegan, or doctors sticking pointy things in you, or things like that. A lot of things, or even atomic power. Atomic power plants is another huge thing that people can get very easily offended by if you say, oh, I'm against that, or I'm for that. And say, oh, how can you be for that? How can you be against that? That's ridiculous. I'm offended. Yeah? That's what I meant. But you're absolutely right with that. Haha, yeah, Kang made that joke. Yeah, joke. But I didn't see it. Hehe, Shad Ice, watching you go on a full-blown swearing rampage. It hasn't happened yet. It hasn't happened yet. Yikes. Yeah, it looks like a monkey. That one. Yes, that one. I would say it looks like a monkey. I wouldn't say it looks like a monkey. Yeah, if you look at it closely, it doesn't. But if you just look at it, to me, it looks like a monkey. Yeah, but if it's really tiny, it kind of does. Yes. For me, at least. Shad Ice, that's just a lack of acceptance of other people's viewpoints. Yeah, you're right. That is exactly what it is. But not necessarily acceptance, but respect. You don't have to accept something to be able to respect it. If I'm having a conversation with you and you have a completely different viewpoint on a specific matter, then I will respect that viewpoint and treat it as though it is a valid viewpoint, because it is. If you believe that thing, then it's valid, even if I don't. And taking offense to something, I think, applies to this. But you may not, and that's a viewpoint. Like an ape or something, yeah. Yeah, true. Anyway, that is the end of the stream. So, actually the end of the stream. So now just some shoutouts at the end. So Kangafango, he does OMSI2 live streams. He also does Trainz. He's working on a route set in Wales. It's based off of the English Riviera. It's a fictional route. And Slovak Eagle does Trainz live streams as well. He's part of the Central Europe Development Team, which is a huge Trainz route. So have a look at that if you want to, if you're interested. Yeah, he also does driving live streams. So yes, I think that is the end of the stream. Besides two things. One, this will be three things. One, this will be archived on YouTube. Two, I'm having a feeling of deja vu, as though I've already said that thing today. I'm not really sure what that's about. And three, I'll read the chat and then I'll end. For example, if you're at a restaurant and you're with your friend ordering food, and you ask your friend if he wanted an olive salad, and he said, I don't like olive salad, you could respect it, not buying him that. Yes. Bye, and see you on the stream tomorrow, Kango. Yeah, fair enough. But if you accept the opinion as your own, you wouldn't buy it for yourself either. That is true. Which is why I said acceptance is different than respecting. Yes. Hey, here, there's a quote from, I was playing Civilization 6, Sid Meier's Civilization 6. One of the little text snippets that when you unlock a new theology, or not theology, a new civic or technology. And one of them was, the mark of a learned mind is to entertain a concept without accepting it as true. I think that's probably very applicable. It's sort of like that. I think it's very similar to that, but maybe not quite completely. I think that applies here. Anyway, yeah, thanks. See you there too. Right, so I'm ending the stream now. So, bye. Shades, wasn't there a pun or something you wanted to tell on Thursday? There was. I don't remember what it was. Something about a roof. Which you forgot? Yeah. Bye.